Welcome to Newday, Cleveland, and today we're taking you on the road to the oldest city in Ohio. It's historic Marietta.
Long time ago, founded in 1788 by the Ohio Company and led by General Rufus Putnam, this was the first permanent American settlement in the Northwest Territory.
And this picturesque city is located where the Muskingum River joins the Ohio River.
Today we're going back to an era where the riverboat ruled and quaint shops line beautiful brick streets.
And we'll tour a castle, we'll go on a ghost trek and visit a founding father's home, and still have time to take a relaxing ride on the river.
Okay, we're going to go down to the Ohio River and we're going to go upstream on the Ohio.
The Valley Gym is a family-owned business. We've been here in Marietta for 37 years now. This Valley Gym is our second boat that we have right now, and it's able to carry 300 passengers. The Valley Gym is a stern wheel boat. We don't have any propellers. The only thing that moves the boat is the paddle wheel. We have public tours on board. We run every day in the summertime. We have a sightseeing tour where it's an hour and a half. We go around Buckley's Island. We tell about the history of Marietta, the history of the rivers, a little bit about the wildlife, and we invite people to come in the pilot house and talk, and it's just a nice trip. Just the fact that Marietta was the first settlement outside of the original 13 colonies, that's what makes it special. George Washington traveled on this water. Marietta was designed and laid out around the water. In fact, George Washington is the one who laid out the town. During the Battle of Valley Forge, he instructed his officers that if we lose this battle, we may very well lose the entire war. And he said, you know, when I was a surveyor general for the colony of Virginia, I really liked this spot. And so he chose this town, and he actually laid it out.
This helped Ohio's economy drastically.
Marietta was home to a very famous shipyard. It was called the Knox Boatyard. And the Knox family, they built 187 wooden-hulled steamboats right here in town.
And they built this first lock in 1820.
Yeah, I absolutely love, telling people about the river and all the different things that are happening on the river, how the river can help us with the rising cost of fuel and how efficient towing traffic is. I mean, this is going to be a new thing that we're going to see in the next few years. Container ships are dropping their containers on the barges and actually bringing them up the Ohio River. It's a great tour because you get to see the recreational value of the rivers. There's a lot of commercial traffic out here. A lot of people have never seen a towboat. Sometimes, we can get right next to a towboat. We talk to the captains, and sometimes, we ask them to explain what they're doing, where they're going, and it's really neat. I mean, there's a lot of wildlife here, migrating birds. We see bald eagles in the spring and the fall right here in Marietta, and so, it's a beautiful place, absolutely beautiful town.
Now let's head over to the Historic District to see one of Ohio's best examples of Gothic architecture.
The castle was home to some of Marietta's most prominent and influential residents.
It was a private home. The original was built in 1833, which is now what we call our summer kitchen. And then the main part of the castle itself that looks like one of those big Gothic castles from England and all over Europe was built in 1855 by Colonel Melvin Clark, who was a Civil War veteran from right here in Marietta. There are 11 rooms that we take people on tours, 3 different bedrooms, a parlor, kitchen, a number of family rooms and things of that sort. Right now we're in the parlor, which would have been the entertaining part of the castle itself, where the different types of families would come and call on the residents here, and they would sit and chat. We also have a piano here. We hold concerts currently, but the original residents would have also had different types of entertainment here as well. We've got this really beautiful old mirror that dates back into the 1840s, and it goes perfect with the windows. It's usually made to go between the two different windows or French doors. This beautiful fireplace, it's made out of a marble composite. It's called scagliola. And when the original was put in here, this is probably in the 1880s, when one of the residents did some upgrades to the place. They put together a number of different flakes and glued it together, and it's on top of slate. And when it was done, it cost about $1,000. And the resident actually paid about $10,000 for the entire house. So that gives you an idea of the value that they would have put on this particular piece. Well, this is the main dining room and has been since the place was put together. We have this wonderful chandelier. It's a 400-piece crystal chandelier that was originally in a house next door, but was loved by one of the residents here, the actual last of the remaining residents. And so she had that brought over. The table here is set up just as you would have done in the Victorian time period. You have the bell to ring for your servants. You have these unusual pieces where you would put blocks of sugar. We don't use the granular sugar or the sugar cubes back in that time period, and you would use the little forks to break off pieces. You have the salts. Salt was a very unusual commodity and very expensive because it was used in food preservation, so you would use it very sparingly. Wine glasses, the cordials for your after dinner liqueurs, and lots of different pieces here with this fine setting. And I'd like to take you upstairs and show you one of the bedrooms here in the castle. And this is one of the master bedrooms and has been for since the building was built. We have this wonderful bed by the Putnam family, the same family that owned the Rufus Putnam House in Campus Martius Museum. It's a wonderful piece that shows the old-fashioned beds, the rope beds, the old-fashioned leather, or the ticking that would have had straw, feathers, even pine needles and other things in it. And that's the origin of the old saying, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. You would tighten up your ropes as they would tend to stretch and sag, and you would frequently have bugs in your bed. So that was one of the origins of that. The outside of the castle has the crenellations that you'll see a lot on the towers throughout Europe, and a lot of the Gothic spires, a lot of that brickwork that you'll see in a lot of the castles from Old England.
Located on 4th Street, the castle is the centerpiece of Marietta's historic district.
And we'll have more of Newday Cleveland from Marietta. The Lafayette has been a destination for travelers since 1892.
Old world charm meets modern amenities in each of the 77 guest rooms and suites.
The Lafayette Hotel was built in 1918. Right, and like I said, we sit at the corner of Front and Green Street, right along the Ohio River. We have 77 sleeping rooms, and then we also have the gun room and lounge, and then we have several banquet facilities as well. Well, a lot of the hotel is done in a Victorian theme. We display Fenton art glass as far as throughout the hotel. A lot of our furniture here was purchased through Antiques and Needful Things, and also the Green Door out of South Carolina. So all of our rooms are done in like the hand-carved mahogany wood. So we just try and stick with a Victorian theme, and some of our smaller rooms are cabin rooms, which are done kind of to mimic the, if you've ever been on a riverboat, some of the cabin rooms are our smaller rooms, and they're done to resemble like a cabin. This is one of our penthouse suites. It has a king-size bed. It's a larger room with a sitting area. It has the four-corner post bed, the Fenton lamps. Fenton Art Glass is located in Williamstown, West Virginia, and they hand paint a lot of their Fenton lamps, and so they're done locally here, and it's a draw to bring people in to this area. And this one also has a whirlpool tub, and then you have access to the deck from the penthouse suite as well. This is a Riverview Queen. It's also in our penthouse suite. They have the hand-carved mahogany wood headboards, Fenton lamps, and all of our standard size rooms are done in a Victorian theme as well. This is another one of our penthouse suites. It has a living room and separate from the bedroom area. It has a king-size bed as well. It also has a jacuzzi, bathtub in it, and then it has a kitchenette available as well.
The Lafayette is the perfect blend of the past and the present.
And it's also rumored to be one of the most haunted places in all of Marietta, and just one of the stops on the hidden Marietta Ghost Track.
Marietta is the most haunted town in Ohio. But there have been so many odd things that have happened here over the years. And the echoes of some of those things are still here in the environment. And of course it's old. We've got all these old buildings, and there's a lot of odd paranormal activity around here. And I think the rivers have something to do with it too. The Lafayette Hotel is a fascinating old building. It opened in 1918, and it is, I kind of think of it as weirdness central for paranormal activity in Marietta. Now, there's nothing really scary that happens here, but a lot of guests, a lot of people who work here have had and continue to have very odd experiences here. A lot of times, guests in the hotel find some of their personal belongings either missing, and they turn up later in weird places, or sometimes they don't turn up at all. But usually they just kind of turn up in strange places. Like one night, a guy that was on the tour came back to the hotel and he could not find his long pants, which was a huge problem because he'd left his car keys in his pants pocket. They didn't find them till the next morning. They were wadded up in a ball. They were in the closet, stuffed way back in the corner up on the shelf. Other people have lost their glasses. One lady came back after a walk and found her shampoo and conditioner bottles dumped in the sink. Now, I honestly don't believe the maids are doing that. Not if they want to keep their job here. So a lot of people's suitcases are turned upside down. It's just kind of odd. It happens to people who work in the hotel too. The files will turn up, 3 offices away. Kitchen utensils disappear. Just kind of a low-level kind of turbulence that rolls through the hotel. This is the Levy House Cafe. The 3-story part of the building that's behind me, back at the turn of the century, that was a house of prostitution called La Belle Hotel, and it was the scene of one of Marietta's most gruesome, bloody murders. A young man about 15 years old killed his father up in one of the bedrooms by chopping his head off. Late at night, it's very quiet down here, and people who live in the apartments, which are now on the upper floors of this building, often hear footsteps coming up the stairwell. But when they come out to investigate, there's nobody there. And people believe that this is the energy of the boy looking for his father and then running back down the stairs after he committed the crime. If you look at the side of the building here, you can just barely see some old letters. Those are called ghost ads. And what they were is advertising to draw the men who worked on the boats on the river up to these businesses. You can just still barely make out the word whiskey, and on the other side, cold beer. There are many awful things that have happened on and near the river. People have drowned, people have committed suicide, there have been murders, and a lot of the energy from those horrible events still lingers down here around these old buildings. This is the Colony Theater. It was opened in 1918. It's everybody's favorite stop on Ghost Trek. Take a look at this. This theater is haunted. And it's haunted by the ghost of the man who used to own it back in the 1920s. His name was Mr. Shea. This theater has sat vacant since 1985, and you can see it's just kind of been crumbling around itself. Recently, renovations have started in here, and the workers have seen Mr. Shea a couple of times. And it's going to be interesting to see, as the renovation progresses, if Mr. Shea puts in another appearance. If you think you might enjoy meeting some of the ghosts of Marietta, come down. Ghost Trek operates every weekend.
You can take a Ghost Trek Friday and Saturday nights from June through October.
And stay tuned for more of Newday Cleveland from Marietta.
Front Street is lined with unique shops.
From antiques and collectibles to jewelry and books, you're sure to find something you like.
Front Street is in the downtown of Marietta, right in the heart of the shopping district. Front Street is so unique in that there are so many different styles of shops. There are flower shops, there are unique specialty shops, there are artist galleries. Downtown we also have a winery that is unique to us, Marietta made. We have a chocolate shop that's Marietta made. We have pasta shop that's Marietta made. And many fine stores, unique boutiques. And the wonderful thing about the stores downtown is each one has its own feeling. It's like an experience when you go into the shop. It's not something that you'll see everywhere. Our shop, Schaefer Leather Store, is the oldest existing harness shop in the Northwest Territory. It is family owned by the Schaefer family, and we're in our 5th generation ownership right now. It is a very unique shop and has changed immensely over the years. When it was opened in 1867, it started out as a harness shop. Purely harness for horses, and now it has grown and developed through the years into a very unique experience. There's everything from Western boots, hats, clothing, over to the other side of the store where it's a little more gift oriented. We have jewelry, handbags, unique specialty items as well. Another unique thing about Marietta is the charming feeling you get when you come downtown. You're welcomed by flowers on the lampposts, a warm smiling face, and a true historic district. All the buildings downtown are in the revitalization stage. Everything's trying to stay, period, into that historic feeling. There'll be awnings on the street, there'll be flowers, there'll be benches to sit at. There's even a walking path that is right downtown. There's so much to do, so many fine restaurants and shopping. So it's a great place to come downtown and stroll about and find hidden treasures.
Shopping in Marietta is about more than just your purchases. It's about the experience, David.
And after a busy day of shopping, enjoy a cold beer or homemade root beer at the Marietta Brewing Company. It's the city's first and only brew pub.
Marietta Brewing Company is a full-functioning brew pub. We manufacture our own craft beer. We operate on a 7-barrel system, and we serve 6 beers on tap at all times. Our beer rotates through about 10 different types, anywhere from your light golden to a nice dark stout. Our first one on the plank is our raspberry wheat beer. It's just an American wheat brewed with half a pound of raspberries per gallon of beer that we make. Our second one here in line is our pawpaw wheat beer. Pawpaw is a fruit native to southeastern Ohio, and we use a whole pound of fruit for that. This is our George's First, which is our golden ale that we talked about. It's a real good bridge beer to get people over to the craft world. This is our Brick Street Red Ale here at the Marietta Brewing Company. That's one of our favorites. All of them are. This is our Marietta Pale Ale, real hoppy, good IPA. And save the best for last, our McLaren Scotch Ale, which is made with real good whiskey peat malt. The brewery is a full-time nightlife club. We do live entertainment every Friday and Saturday night at 10 p.m. featuring local entertainment, musicians. We also have a full restaurant where we have great food. The brewery has probably one of the best restaurants in town. It's a real laid-back atmosphere. Everybody loves to come here with the exposed brick walls and steel beams. It's so open, the high ceilings, people just kind of really enjoy being in here. A lot of the decor we had hand painted onto the brick walls. A lot of them are beer labels of the past, some just cool old wine labels that we found. We have a full mural of the old Marietta Brewing Company staff. The Marietta Brewing Company is actually a pre-Prohibition brewery. Prohibition pretty much killed the Marietta Brewing Company, but it started in the late 1890s, up by Campus Martius Museum. Is where that was. Back then they brewed a lot more than we did. And that's what we wanted to create back into that history since we're in historic Marietta. The coolest thing about the brewing company, when you walk in to the Marietta Brewing Company, we force you to walk through our brew house. We have 2 260-gallon tanks, brewing tanks, that you're forced to look at. And our brew house is just fully open and exposed. If you come for lunch, you're going to watch our brewmaster making beer while you eat. And you get to smell it too, which is a beautiful aroma. If you're looking for a good night out when you come to Marietta, the Marietta Brewing Company is where you want to go. For great locally cold beer, you can't beat it.
More to come of Newday, Cleveland from Marietta.
The Campus Martius Museum is on the original site of the fortress.
And built in 1788, it also houses the home of General Rufus Putnam.
Originally, Campus Martius, right after the American Revolution, was constructed by 48 families, the first 48 that landed here in Ohio and decided that they would make their home along the northern shore of Ohio. And they built a fort here called Campus Martius. A lot of people, when they come here, think that they should be looking for a college because there's a campus, but actually it is a fortified town built on the top of a hill. This is the Ohio Valley in the area of what is now Marietta in the 18th century. And if you notice, there's Campus Martius, and surprisingly, we actually have a fairly large original part of that. If you'd like to come and see it, let's go. And it doesn't look like much, but quite frankly, you're standing in an 18th century blockhouse, which were fortifications back then. and in fact there's still gun loops in it. And the blockhouse was part of the campus of Martius Museum. As a matter of fact, it's that blockhouse right there on the model. And after the whole fort was disassembled, the guy who was living in this house behind me, that we're going to go into in a minute, took that down and reassembled it to add an addition to his regular house. So if you want to see the house, the way it was completed, and the way it stood for the last 225 years, we ought to go inside. We're in the kitchen right now, and this is not a replica. This is the original kitchen of the 1788 house that the Putnams lived in, a fairly large family, and this is where they did all their cooking. The fireplace, and they'd have a fire going there pretty much all day long, and they would take hot coals and put them out here on the hearth and then put their pots over the hot coals. They didn't climb back into a fireplace like common myth is. And right over here is a bread oven, and you'd have bread with just about every meal. Most meals were stews, and that's why you see a lot of pots here. If you notice, the gun is not hanging over the fireplace. Hanging it over the fireplace is a myth. They always hung them close to the door so you can get out of the house and use it. Plus it was loaded, and you put it above a burning fireplace, it could go off. Upstairs we have 3 bedrooms, and kids slept everywhere. In fact, they even slept in the attic at that time. And the bedrooms have canopy beds, and they also have slide-out beds, beds under beds, which are called trundle beds. This house, being original and being as old as it is an extremely, extremely important piece of history. And when you're realizing that you're looking at this thing, and it hasn't changed at all in 225 years, it's an amazing thing. You can even see the numbers on it. And the numbers were on it, they were put on when it was built so that when the threat of the Indian Wars were over, they could take these down and move them to the farmstead that they had purchased. It was the antecedent of the prefab houses, and that's why you have the numbers on it. We have taken a lot of time preserving this house. It truly is a piece of national history.
With 3 floors of exhibits, you can learn all about the Northwest Territory and the area's history.
And another historic home is now a beautiful bed and breakfast. The house on Harmar Hill is an elegant Queen Victorian built in 1901.
That's right, with 4 unique bedrooms and 3 full baths. It also boasts the best view of Marietta right from the front porch.
Well, we started the house on Harmar Hill in the year 2000. We did an initial restoration period during the first 5 months before we opened, and we've been doing something ever since, but we looked for a long time for what we thought was going to be the perfect place, and we found that Marietta was it. Well, the house was built in 1901 by a young man named John Kaiser, quite an entrepreneur in the city. He was only 35 when he built this house, made his money in gas and oil, moved up here from 2nd Street, had been flooded out a couple of times and said enough is enough. We're going on urban legend here with that, but he incorporated the work of 2 brothers by the name of Brickweedy to do all the woodwork that's in the home. They initially were apprentice mantle makers to the Marietta Mantle Company, and he liked their work so much that he had them do all the woodwork in the house. And this is one of the last standing houses that they did, because they went on then to become furniture makers. When you walk into the foyer, it's a grand space. It is the epitome of old world craftsmanship. You look at that staircase, you look at the rosettes, you look at the detail on the spindles, you look at the archway that goes into the turret, the detail on the capitals, the rosettes that are there, the Corinthian columns that surround that space. It's just amazing. We have 4 guest rooms, and we have put them all on the 2nd floor, so everybody gets to go up that grand staircase when they go up to their room. This room is the Custer room, named after the 2nd family that owned the house. Initially it was the sewing room, and you can see why, because of all the light that's in this room. It's kind of a gloomy day today, but you can still see that the light just flows into this room. This is the Brickweedy room, named after the two brothers who are responsible for all this beautiful woodwork in the house. And this is an example of one of their mantles. This is an original mantle. The pillars are absolutely wonderful, as you can see. This actually was Mrs. Kaiser's bedroom. Just down the hall is Mr. Kaiser's bedroom, and you can see it is a much larger space and a little more masculine than Mrs. Kaiser. The cabinet that's in this room is absolutely exquisite. The detail that was given to the door and to the glass area is just wonderful. We are so proud that it is in here and it is all intact. We haven't had to do any restoration to the cabinetry at all. This bathroom is actually original to the home, which is very unusual for a house of this era, because up on Harmar Hill they didn't even have running water until the late 30s. Yet John Kaiser put running water in his house in 1901 to have a bathroom. The sink that you see is Indiana marble and is original to the home. The tub also is an original cast iron tub that was put into the house in 1901. We think that this is an elegant room. If you look at the woodwork that's in here and the paneling, it reminds me of a library, and quite unusual to have a space like this in a home in the era of 1901. We think we're just being stewards of this property until the next person comes along, and we think it's such a grand property that it should be shared. And that's what we first thought when we looked at it, that this is the place where we wanted to do the bed and breakfast after our search for so many years.
Beautifully decorated and lovingly restored, it's the perfect place to get away and unwind.
Okay, here we go. More from historic Marietta, including a trip to Harmar Village, right after this. Okay, here we go. If you're looking for a great place to relax with family and friends, head to the Adelphia and the Galley.
It's the area's best venue for live music and, of course, great food.
Here we are in downtown Marietta, the historical district, and we have the Galley restaurant. And then we also have the Adelphia, and the Adelphia is, of course, the new addition to the Galley. The reason we have the Galley and the Adelphia, the story behind the names, Marietta was the first colony after the original 13 to be settled west, and the first flatboat that brought the settlers to Marietta was, of course, called the Adventure Galley, which we originally were called the Adventure Galley, but we shortened the name to the Galley. And then the second boat that actually brought the settlers over was called the Adelphia, and that's why we have the two names. The Galley, being in the historical district, we pretty much focused on trying to make it the hub of social activity in the historical district of Marietta. Prime and choice cut steaks, a lot of American cuisine, burgers, wraps, nice fresh salads, homemade desserts. And then with the Adelphia, what we are doing is bringing in not only the best of the local entertainment and bands and groups, and not only rock and roll, but Americana, but also regional and national acts.
We're very proud to present, put your hands together for Vinny and the Lubricators.
Great food at the Galley and live entertainment at the Adelphia. two great places, David, in just one stop.
And not everything in Marietta is historic. How about a visit to Anderson Hancock Planetarium? Opened in the spring of 2009, the planetarium is a 4,500 square foot building featuring an 85-seat theater with cutting-edge technology.
The Anderson Hancock Planetarium is located on the campus of Marietta College. Our planetarium is very flexible. We have what's called a hybrid projection system, which is a pretty new thing for a planetarium to have. So we have a traditional star projector, which I think you can see back there. It is computer controlled, so while it is it uses lenses and mirrors and light bulbs and so on to really produce a very accurate picture of the night sky, but it's also computer controlled, so we can dial up a time, say 2,000 years in the future, and the computer can calculate exactly where the planets and so on should be, and so it will give us the correct sky for that night. But we also have a digital projection system which we can use to show videos that play on the entire dome. And we can also view the night sky that way as well, which allows us to leave the surface of the Earth and zoom in on additional objects.
Wow, what a neat box. Where'd you get it? Mom gave it to me. It's from the new fridge.
Well, we have a number of different video programs that we show to groups. And we have some that are specifically for children, including one called Secret of the Cardboard Rocket, in which the central characters visit the various planets in our solar system using a rocket that they've built out of a refrigerator box. We also have programs that are more for general audiences, including adults. We have a program about the solar system, the sun, black holes, as well as some others. And we also have a program called Season of Light that we show in December around the Christmas season that has proven to be very popular. We've shown it both Christmases so far that we've been open, and we've drawn pretty good-sized group of people for that. The first thing we're going to look at is the night sky. This is the International Space Station. I think planetariums are really great for a couple of different reasons. One is that astronomy is often a science that people feel the strongest connection to. They see pictures from the Hubble Space Telescope, or they view the stars in the night sky when they go on vacation, and it's a topic that they're usually pretty excited to learn more about. But also I think there's a practical side, which is that people at some point in their lives, they are going to look up at the sky, and this way they can learn a little bit more about what they're seeing.
The road trip to Marietta continues with more to come of Newday Cleveland from Marietta.
Including the sure-to-be famous fried bologna sandwich.
Gotta have some of that.
We'll have more of Newday Cleveland right after this.
Okay, Harmar is the oldest section of Marietta. It was established 3 years before Marietta was established because they had a fort on the point down here, and they put soldiers in here to protect the Indians, believe it or not. So it has a very unique history and everything, and they were here 3 years before the settlers showed up to settle Marietta. That would have been 1785.
Welcome back to Newday Cleveland. Okay, just steps from downtown Marietta, you'll find historic Harmar Village.
And from Soda Fountain and Museum to Whipple's Whimsical Toys, it's also home to Harmar Tavern, featuring the sure-to-be famous fried bologna sandwich.
Got to have one of those.
Well, it's been around for over 110 years. We're known for our bologna sandwiches. We've been in Midwest Living magazine. We've been on, we've had camera crews from Florida come in, and it's people when they come in town, they come for bologna. You know, we even serve it on during breakfast. If they want it during breakfast, it's the only sandwich that we'll serve during breakfast. And we're open 365 days a year, so we're always here. This bologna is made in Zanesville. You know, when we first started, we used to have to go pick it up. Now they deliver it, so We sell a lot of bologna.
It cooks for approximately 35 seconds on each side. It comes with sweet pickles on bottom, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, and onion. And topped with Monterey Jack cheese.
Bologna sandwich up.
So it's the best bologna you can get anywhere. You know, I'm the 4th owner since 1900, so everybody that's had it has had it a long time. You know, it's pretty family oriented. You know, the foul language, you won't hear any bad language in here because it's never ever been allowed. You know, this has always been a working man's tavern.
Well, I've always collected Coke all my life, and I had so much of it. My family, we bought this building and did all the remodeling in it and everything, and we moved over here so I could have a soda fountain. And I love the soda fountain. It brings back so much memories to the older generation. I just wanted a counter and have everything else here with it. It's a little bit modern in the old days, but I still make the old-fashioned sodas, the floats, the egg creams. People from New York love egg creams, the phosphates, the real milkshakes. And we have specialty sandwiches here. My family owns restaurants. We own 10 restaurants and we own 7 bakeries. So all my bread in here is made by our bakeries, and people loves the bread and the hot dog buns. And they come from all over. There's not a state it's not in my book where people sign in.
Found as an antique shop in Harmar Village, which is just across the river, or the Muskingum River from downtown Marietta. We specialize in antique furniture and specialize in pottery from Roseville. We try to keep a more upscale variety for people to choose from. We were very selective with what goes in the store, but that being said, you can look through any of the drawers and discover vintage, postcards and programs and any kind of paper that you can kind of think of. So it's very eclectic in its taste.
Whipple's Whimsical Toys is old style toys for your girls and boys. Basically, it's the old style brought back new. We're trying to keep the theme of things that you actually play with, the late 1800 toys through the mid 1980s, all the old things brought back new. It is housed in the historic Harmar Village. They have 2 trains that they have brought back here, and we are right here in the trains. I feel that it's a must stop because it gives you the old feel of the when we were children, of the old storefronts, the toys that we would have played with, and it brings back a lot of memories. We find that not only the children are enjoying the visits, but also the parents are having fun, the grandparents are having fun because they're walking down memory lane when they come through.
Eclectic shops and great food all in a quaint village.
Yeah, we hope you've enjoyed the show. Historic Marietta, Ohio is just a short 3-hour drive down I-77 south from Cleveland. Rich in history, hospitality, and right on the river.
And it's a wonderful place to visit. For more information on any of the places that we visited today, just go to our website, fox8.com.
We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
And we're going to go upstream on the Ohio. Right now we're 172 miles from Pittsburgh. If we're to turn to the right and go down the Ohio, we're 90 miles from Gallipolis, 300 miles from Cincinnati, 450 miles from Louisville, Kentucky. And then if we're to keep going down the Ohio River, it's 1,676 miles to New Orleans.
We've got good eating and the famous bologna sandwiches here in Harmar and everything.